Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. Welcome and thank you very much for joining us today for our highly anticipated, informative virtual meeting. We are very glad to see so many of you joining us already. We will begin shortly, so please bear with us for a few more minutes as we allow others to join. But in the meantime, feel free to share the Zoom link with any colleagues or friends who might be interested in today's session. While we wait, a quick reminder to everyone to keep your microphones muted unless you are speaking or asked to speak. This will help us all to avoid any background noise and ensure a very smooth meeting. If you have any questions or comments during the session, please type them in the chat box or use the raise hand feature on the application. Thank you very much. Also, do not forget to follow us on all the social media handles displayed on our screen at Negros Hub. Yes, as displayed on the screen. Thank you very much. My name is Angela Apiation, and I'm honored to be your moderator for this session, alongside the wonderful Mr. Rashid.
Right. Thank you so much, Angela.
Okay. It looks like we have a great turnout already, or I think we still need to wait for a few more people.
Yeah, precisely. I think those of us who are here, this definitely is one that you wouldn't want your friend or a colleague or family member to miss. So you definitely want to share the link for your friends and colleagues to join as well. So kindly do well to share the links as we wait for the numbers to show up. But I think we can go straight ahead and get started already. I don't know. Angela, over to you.
Okay. 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 Thank you very much. Okay, so we have a lineup of exceptional speakers who will share their invaluable insights with us today. As my colleague said, you wouldn't want to miss this one. So kindly take a few minutes out of your time to share the link across all social media platforms to encourage your friends and colleagues to join as well. Okay, so let us commence with an opening prayer to set a solemn tone for our virtual gathering. And for that, I would like to invite Mr. Benadiado to lead us in prayer. Is Mr. Yadu here, please?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Please,
Kindly
you are
take the
praying.
virtual podium and lead us in prayer.
You are praying. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this gathering. We even thank you for the opportunity that this gathering has been kickstarted and all our speakers are healthy and motivated to speak to us. As children of God, we pray that we are we are to be the leaders and to lead right also. As we sit to learn from this experienced experts, we pray that all that we learn, you have the boldness to apply them after we've learned them, so that at the end we can look back and say, I joined this meeting and this how far we've come. Thank you, Lord, for this gathering once again. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Bernard. Thank you for the opening prayer. Definitely, it requires that we leave proceedings here in the house of God to take charge. Thank you so much, Bernard, for that. Angela, I don't know if you have had to stay with accounts or you have had any experience with accounts, but normally when you have people visit, even though they know why they have visited, probably to visit or to just
Come
share
and eat.
solidarity messages and all of that. But they still, can you hear me?
Yes, please, we can hear you.
Oh, all right, awesome, awesome. But you still have people asking, one, right? Normally they say that
Yes.
in Ukraine, it definitely suffice that we, even though we know why we are gathered here to learn and also to grow as young people, but definitely would want to ask the conveners of this gathering why they have gathered us here. And so we would call on Mr. Daniel Ewusi, the Chief Executive Officer of Ewusidan Consult, to tell us why we have gathered here, the purpose of this meeting. Mr. Daniel, if you are here, over to you.
Okay,
Hello.
as we wait for Mr. Daniel, I think we can quickly read his profile to our audience as well. As we wait for him. Rashid.
Hello.
Definitely.
Please. Okay.
Right. Mr. Daniel is actually an embodiment of experience. It would take us the entire 2-hour period to read his profile, but briefly, he is a prolific and industrious accountant with vast experience in entrepreneurship. He is a level 2 chartered accountant candidate. Mr. Ewusi is an entrepreneur, and due to his outstanding performance in entrepreneurship, he now owns 3 organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 organizations. I said Ewusidan Consultancy 1, Ewusidan Construction Company, and Ewusidan Foundation. Please help me welcome Mr. Daniel Ewusi, Chief Executive Officer of Ewusidan Consult. Mr. Daniel, over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Rashid, for this noble opportunity. Good evening, honorable speakers. Please, I hope everyone can hear me. Hello.
Yes, please, we can.
Please go ahead.
Welcome to this noble platform for this business webinar. I am Mr. Daniel Ewusi, the founder of Ewusidan Consultancy, and I'm here to present the main purpose of this program. According to some survey carried out by the team of Ewusidan Consult and Lagos Hub, we realize that most individuals and youth in Ghana are having the zeal to start up their dream businesses. But due to inadequate knowledge of starting up businesses, their dream businesses always end in the idea developing stage. Also, we realize that most businesses always encounter some challenges along the way when they start up because of lack of legal documentation and legal permits from various statutory agencies, such as Office of Registrar of Companies, Food and Drug Board, Ghana Revenue Authority, Social Security and National Insurance Trust, Environmental Protection Agency, and many others. For this reason, that we bring this business webinar dubbed Business Startup and its Legal Documentation in Ghana. Our main aim for this gathering is to equip various individuals, the youth and existing business to work in accordance with the Companies Act 2019, Act 992, so that they can work in Ghana without any legal implementation. Thank you, and stay tuned to gain insightful experience from industry experts. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Daniel Ewusi, for setting the stage for today's discussion and clearly outlining the purpose of our gathering. I think a few of us already saw the flyer, but now we have much knowledge as to what we will be doing today. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our first speaker. Our first speaker is Dr. Cecilia. Dr. Cecilia Tutu Dankwa. Dr. Cecilia Tutu Dankwa. I don't know if she's around, but quickly I would go through her profile to all of us. So Dr. Cecilia Tutu Dankwa is the founder and leader of the TUSI Group of Companies. Thus, she is the principal of TUSI Institute of Counseling and Technology, the CEO of TUSI Expect Consult, the director of TUSI Hospitality Center in Kumasi, as well as the lead counselor for TUSI TUSI organization. Dr. Celia is a founding member of the National Association of Certificated Counselors, as she is the current national president. She holds a doctorate degree in guidance and counseling in the area of cyber counseling from the University of Education, Winneba. She also holds a Master of Education degree in Information Technology from the University of Cape Coast, Master of Arts in Philosophy in Guidance and Counseling from University of Education, Winneba. She also holds a Bachelor degree in Education. She's a licensed counseling psychologist and cyber counseling expert who advocates for ubiquitous counseling. She is a professional teacher in the area of pedagogy and andragogy. Wow, this is so fantastic. A fanatical writer and distinguished social entrepreneur and compassionate counseling psychologist. She's an educational technologist who promotes the integration of emerging technologies in education to meet the needs of all learners. Doctor has implemented numerous projects with the quest to counsel, educate, and empower individuals, having taught for 7 years at the basic level and 17 good years at Accra College of Education. Doctor is currently a lecturer at the University of Ghana, Legon. She's a God-fearing and studious and epitome of love, a wife, a mother to many, and still a baby to her mother. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our first speaker, Dr. Cecilia Tutu-Dankwa. I don't know if Doctor is here, but if she's here, kindly take the virtual podium.
Right, Angela, thank you for the beautiful introduction. I think I understand from the technical team that Dr. Cecilia is now preparing to join us. So before she joins us, I think we would go ahead to introduce our next speaker, who would in turn be our first speaker now, Mr. Robert.
Okay.
Right, Mr. Robert Ukwampa is a multifaceted professional with experience in farming, engineering, and business development consulting. As the CEO of Roberts Farms and Consults Limited, he leads a team dedicated to innovative and sustainable farming practices and provides strategic business consulting services to clients. With a strong background in engineering and passion for agriculture, Robert brings a unique perspective to the agricultural industry. His experience in business development consulting enables him to identify opportunities for growth and drive success in various sectors. Under his leadership, Robert Farms and Consults Limited has become a reputable name in the industry, known for its commitment to excellence and customer satisfaction. Mr. Roberts' vision to continue expanding his company's impact, fostering sustainable agricultural practices, and empowering businesses to thrive. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our very first speaker. Whilst we wait for Dr. Cecilia, Mr. Robert O. Apau, Chief Executive Officer of Roberts Farms and Consult. Mr. Roberts, over to you.
Good evening to you all, and thank you for this opportunity. I hope
Good evening, Mr.
everyone
Roberts.
can hear me.
We can hear you, please. Please go ahead.
Okay. So this evening, I have a small task to talk about the business startup and its legal documentation in Ghana. You see, most of us, the challenge that we face is that when we talk about business, our focus goes to the product or service that we want to deliver. And so when we bring out the product or service, because of legal implications and other things that we did not do, we end up running at a loss. So we give up on the business that we wanted to do. So this evening, we are going to look at, when we talk about business startup and its legal documentation, what are we supposed to do? And I have classified it into 10 points. Let's start with conceiving a business idea, conducting market research, choosing business name and location, define governance structure, developing a business plan, register the business, applying for license and permits, open business bank, ultimately developing your business product or service. So I will start with the first one, which is conceiving a business idea. Most of the same thing, but because our ideas are not the same, when you check the product or service that will come out, you'll be able to distinction. So business idea is simply the reason for setting up the business. So what do you want to do? That is your business idea. To solution to a problem that people are willing to pay. Most of the times, our solutions people are not willing to pay. Especially our people want most of that for them for free. They will like it, but to check and know that the idea that you are bringing up is solving a problem that people are willing to pay. But to come out with the idea, there are 5 things that you need to consider. The first thing is that you look at your skill set. Don't set up a business that you don't have a skill about it. Yes, it's true, you employ people, but without any skill or knowledge, the likelihood of the people collapsing your business for you is high. Also, you identify underserved needs of people that are not served now. You also look at inventing a new product or service or adding value to existing product, and also investigations that you have done or conducted from other markets. These are the things that should guide you in conceiving a business idea. So after going through this, you'll be able to get an idea. Let's say I want to start a snail farm. It's an idea, but you realize that your idea should be something that people are willing to pay for, because we go into business to make money, not charity. And so you have to go to we go to the next point, which is conducting the market research. Once you've conceived the idea, you don't start. You go and conduct a market research. The people that you want to do the product or service for, you go to them and ask them, okay, I want to do ABCD. Do you like it? How is it? How do you, if you like it, how do you like it? Example, I want to do snail farming. So you go to chop bars, you go to restaurants. Oh, I want to do snail farming. So do you like it? How do you like it? Do you like it processed? Do you like it raw? Even what weight do you like? So all these things, after conducting the market research, that will guide you to know that whether the product that you are sending out will excel or not. So this is the advice that I mostly give to people, that you identify at least 20 potential customers. 20 potential customers means 20 people that you think they can buy or they will buy from you. And then you go to them and then you speak with them. If you get more than half telling you that they will buy your product, then it means that it's good. You can then go to the next stage. But if you get less than half, which is 10 out of the 20, then it means you need to come back, modify your business idea, and go and do your market research again. So the market research goes with value proposition. What are you bringing on board which is different from what is already there? Your target market. Which people are you targeting? Because there are a lot of people out there, but each business should be able to target a particular market that they want. Because if you go to the market, you realize that we all go to the market, but we have our preference. We have people we buy from. Same with the product or service you are bringing on board. So you should know your target market. And then when you do the market research, it will help you identify the pricing, the size, the location, and other things. One major thing about the market research is that you should also be able to do your SWOT analysis, which is your strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. You should be able to identify your strength in relation to the business idea, then your weakness in relation to the business idea, the opportunities surrounding the business ideas, and then the threats associated with the business idea. You should be able to add all into your market research, which will help to guide you. So from there, then we move to the third point, which is choosing your business name and location. You realize that you've spoken to the people, so they've given you an idea how they want it. And so based on the market research that you've conducted, you can then come out with a name for the business and then a location. Mostly the business name should be revolved around what you want to do, so that when we mention the name, you can see that, oh, okay, this is what we are going to do. And then your business location should be where customer can find you easily. Because when you want to deal with me, the first question is, where can I locate you? Or where are you located? So business location is very, very necessary. So after we doing that, then we move on to the fourth point, which is your governance structure. One thing about business is that one person cannot do business. One person will conceive the idea, one person will set up the idea, but one person cannot do it. You need to bring people on board. So you need to know the systems, the rules, the procedures, the practices by which you are going to direct your business. And that is why we term as the governance structure. So you should be able to know your business hierarchy. And when I get here, I always advise people that your governance structure should have 3 levels: the higher level, the middle level, and the lower level. The highest level, they may not be even part of the business, but based on their experience, based on their technicalities, you bring them on board. So they are mostly the advisors, the board of directors, the counselors, the auditors, and the others. They are at the highest level. Every business governance structure should have these people on top. They are on top. Then you come to the middle level, which deals with the managers, the supervisors, and others. And then when you come to the basic, which is the lower level, which deals with the workers that you are going to do with. The secret is that the workers are the ones who are going to work for you to get the money. But without somebody supervising them, a work that they have to use 1 day to do, they will use 5 days or 10 days. So that is why the intermediary comes in. That's the middle level. And then when the middle level are also supervising them, they also need experienced brains to guide and direct them. So that is why we also get the higher level, which is the board of directors, which is the auditors, the advisors, the counselors, and the rest. So that when you have these 3 levels within your governance structure, then it means that your business cannot fail. Because the workers will work according to plan. There will be people to supervising them, and then there will be people to also share their rich experience and knowledge to help guide the business. So that is on the governance structure. So from the governance structure, then we go to the next point, which is you developing a business plan. Doing the business is like building a house or doing any construction thing, any construction work. You realize that before you start any house building, you go to the architect, you tell him, then he will sketch everything onto the paper for you. And then after doing that, you get your contractor and you give him the plan. And then the contractor puts up the building. And when it's done, you can see that the building on the paper and the building that you are seeing are the same. That is similar to the business plan. Now you've been able to get an idea, you'll be able to conduct your market research, you'll be able to choose a name and location, and you define your governance structure. So you add all these things up, and then you put together a business plan. So a business plan is simply a document explaining in convincing details how an entrepreneur or enterprise intends to manage a business to produce acceptable rate of profitability and returns on investment. So that your business plan will serve as a guide. So that whoever will pick your business plan can know that, okay, though he has not started the business, though she has not started the business, this is the level or the understanding of where he wants the business to get to. This is the financial forecast. So if as you invest this amount into the business, at the end of the day, I am going to get this returns from it. And then the business plan helps you for two purposes, for internal purpose and external purpose. Because it serves as a roadmap. It also serves as point of reference for future strategies and planning. And also helps you to be successful, because once you have a plan, it means you go by the plan and you cannot fail. Also, for external purpose, attract people, others to the business. Because whoever comes across your business plan is interested, can easily be attracted to the business. It also helps you to even get funding and sponsors and investors and grants. So these are some of the purpose of the business plan. So you realize that for all these points, we are talking about you. So after you putting together your business plan, that is where the legality starts. That is where the legal documents start setting in. Now you have a business on paper that you want to execute. So what you do is that you go and register your business with the Office of the Registrar of Companies. Previously, it used to be the Registrar General's Department, the RGD. But since the inception of the Company Act 2019 at 992, a new body has been created, which is the Office of the Registrar of Companies, which is now responsible for all business registrations in Ghana. So per the new Company Act, which is at 992, the Office of the Registrar of Companies is responsible for all company registrations. So you go to them. The good news is that they have an office in every regional capital in Ghana. So no matter where you are located, when you go to your regional capital, they have an office there. So you go and register. But business that you want to register. There are 7 forms of business. We have company limited by shares, company limited by guarantee, company unlimited by shares, sole proprietorship, external companies, and then incorporated partnership. But due to our time, I will limit our discussion to 3 on this one, which is company limited by shares, company limited by guarantee, and then sole proprietorship. Company limited by shares simply means that these companies, the shares of the directors or shareholders are limited by a certain number. So when there is a loss, you cannot go beyond what they have invested into the business. So that's company limited by shares. One benefit about company limited by shares is that at the end of the day, all the shareholders, at the end of every year, if a profit is declared, all the shareholders are entitled to dividends. However, any money you invest into the company in the form of purchasing shares, you can also not get that money back. So that is the shares, that is the limitation that you are putting on your shares. Now, assuming you are investing into Robert farms, let's say 100,000. So use 100,000 to buy shares. So your liabilities in the business is the 100,000 shares you have bought, the 100,000 CD shares you have bought. So what it means is that if the company should make any loss, all that you can pay is what you have put there. They cannot go beyond it. And then at the end of every year, if the business make profit, you are entitled to your dividends, pay the arrangement and agreement during the purchase of shares. Then company limited by guarantee are companies that, in other words, they are not in to make profit. They are just there to break even. So we have NGOs, we have churches, we have associations, and the rest. They are companies limited by guarantee. You see that they are there to work, but they are not there to make money. And then we have the sole proprietorship. The sole proprietorship simply is regulated by the Business Name Act. So the sole proprietorship, in short, means the name that you want to use to trade, you are going to register that business. But that one, when you make loss, all the loss is for you. And when you make profit, all the profit is for you. So that is the sole proprietorship. So this is the advice that I mostly give to startups. When you are starting your business, start with sole proprietorship. But as your business grow and the liability becomes high, then you convert your business from sole proprietorship to a company limited by shares, so that the liabilities will be limited. So that in case of loss, they cannot go beyond the liabilities that you have the limit that you've put on your liabilities. One problem that most startup does is that when they start business, they always forget to register. And so if you don't register your business and then there is a problem, you cannot take any legal means to address it. Because when you go to the court, the first thing that the court will do is that they will request that a search be done at the office of the Registrar of Companies to ascertain the registration of the company. So when they go and the business is not registered, legally you don't have a case, because a business that does not exist cannot take any legal action. So that is why we encourage every business that once you start, you should be able to register the business, so that in case of any legal litigation, you'll be able to go to the court of law, and then you'll be able to also you'll be able to be represented in court. Because if you don't register your business and you go to court, you are just wasting your time and your money. So after the business registration, then you move to the next stage, which deals with license and permits. Every business, there are three things that you need to do. The first thing is that every business operates within a district. So you need to go to the district assembly for what we call business operating permit. It's a mandatory thing. It's a compulsory thing. If you don't do that, you fall short at the law, and then the assembly can take disciplinary action against you, including legal actions. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the Ghana Revenue Authority, the GRA. Every business is supposed to pay taxes. But one thing is that once you've registered your business, you also go and register with them. So that whenever you need to pay your taxes, you know that, okay, they know you. That once you register your business, don't forget the GRA. Because if you don't go and register and they find you operating, that is when they come with their huge rates, huge penalties. They sometimes give you outrageous prices to pay. And you wonder, how much do I make from this money, this business that I'm supposed to pay this huge amount? It's because you didn't go and register. So they are doing their own calculation for you. So once you register your business, you get your assembly permit, and then you go and register with the GRA. And since you'll be working with you need to employ people to work with. That's you need to get workers. Then you need per the laws of the country, you need to also pay their pension, which is their SNIT. So you need to also register with Social Security and National Insurance Trust, which is SNIT. These three is mandatory. You have to do it. Every business. So let's take note. The others which are not mandatory are the Ghana Tourism Authority. So all the businesses that fall within the tourism and hospitality industry need to also go to them for permit. Example, restaurants, catering companies, hotels, bars, and the rest. You need to go to them for their permit. Then we have the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA. Any business that you do that will affect the environment, you need to go to them. So any business that you are doing, you can also take EPA out. Especially if you construct something or you work within an environment. And if you change anything within the environment, you need to contact them for permit. And then we have the Food and Drugs Authority. They've been mandated to regulate what we eat, drink, and then put on our skin, which is food, drugs, and then cosmetics. So if you've business falls within the food, drugs, and cosmetic process, then you need to also go to the FDA for that. And then you need to also, if your business deal with standardization, measurement, and the rest, then you need to get Ghana Standard Authority certification as well. The last but not the least is the Ghana National Fire Service, which is your fire certificate. Most businesses don't know. But when you insure your business and you don't have a fire certificate, in the event of fire, the insurance company will not pay you. The first thing they will ask for is your fire certificate. This is what I've experienced on the field. When you do the insurance, they will not tell you. But when there's an accident, then they'll ask for your fire certificate. So that is also very important that you contact the Ghana National Fire Service. They also do an assessment for you and help you to put in the necessary controls. Because based on the nature of your business, you may generate fire. And so they will help you put in place the needed controls so that fire don't occur at your workplace or in your business. So you need to also get their permit. The purpose of all these permits is to just regulate and guide you so that whatever you are sending out will be up to standard. So after getting all these permits, then you move to opening a business account. One thing about business, especially those of us doing sole proprietorship, is that we tend to combine our personal account and the business account together. So you hardly see difference between that. But if you want to do a proper business and want to be successful, then you need to separate your business from your personal account. So you need to go and open a business account with any bank. And then with the business account, we have savings and then we have current. Savings don't come along with charges. Just that you don't have a checkbook. So anytime you want to withdraw, you have to go to the bank yourself. But current comes with checkbooks, but you need to pay charges at the end of the month. So you check. Based on the stage of your business, then you decide whether you go for a business account, a savings account, or a current account. The one other thing about creating an account is that look out for a bank who will be there for you when you need support. There are some banks, they don't give loans. And even if they will give you, the process you will go through is hell. Go and bring this, go and bring that, go and bring this, go and bring that. As a startup, you may not have and you become confused and frustrated. So you check out which bank can support me when I need help. And then you also check their interest rate, because when you make money, you also save it at the bank for interest. So Hit Bank also has that good interest rate. They also check the loan rate, that if I'm supposed to go for a loan, what rate are they charging me? So you check all these things before you select a particular bank. If you don't do that and just choose any bank, you realize that along the way, when you need help, they will not support you, and then the business will collapse. So in opening a business account, you need to take all those things into consideration. So after opening an account, then you go and get money and put in the account. That is, you fund your business. And there are different sources of funding business. We have your personal. Let me encourage all startups listening to me this evening, that if you want to start business, you need to at least raise something small. Don't say, I don't have anything. Nobody will support you when you have zero. At least get something small. So that when you are going to seek for funding, at least, okay, personally, I have 1,000. So please, can you help me? At least you've made an effort. So the likelihood for you to get support is very high. So the first thing is your personal source. Every entrepreneur should cultivate a saving habit. Even if you've not dreamed of a business idea today, start saving. So that tomorrow when the idea comes, you would then have something small to start. So that is the first thing, is your personal. The second thing is family and friends. Please, as we go by, let's try to build links and network, especially after here. Try to know somebody, try to contact somebody. Build that link so that when you share your business idea, your proposal with your family and friends, at least they can support you. Even if not giving you all, you can get something small from them. The third aspect is grant. And let me emphasize on the grant issue here. There are a lot of grants in the system, but the focus of grants these days are towards women, women-led business. So if you are here and you are a lady, there are a lot of opportunities out there for you. So try and start something with your business idea and you can get support. The other thing has to be youth, less than 35 years. That's also the next focus. The third one has to do with the climate change, green energy, businesses along that way, clean energy, green energy, and then climate change. If your business falls within these three areas, then you look at the grant opportunities, then you also try to apply. Aside grants are loans, you can also try getting loans from the bank or from others. But I encourage personal loans than bank loans when you are starting. Because when you go to the bank as a startup, when they give you the money, they are expecting you to pay back and they don't take excuse. So they'll give you pressure. But when you go to your friends, at least they will support you and their terms of conditions may be more flexible than the bank. The last one is equity. But this equity refers to only company limited by shares. Where when you register your company, you can then open for people to buy shares. That is, they invest to be part of the business. And then you use that money to run the business. So equity is also part. So based on these 5 ways, you can then raise money to fund your business. So after founding the business, that is when you have funds for the business, that is when you start to develop your product or service. Please, if you don't have funds for your business, don't start your product or service. This one I am a personal experience. Let me just share with you. I almost, it was not an easy thing. Somebody promised me money, and I said, okay. So based on the time that he promised the money, I took a step. So I had a little portion on me. So I used that money to bring birth. So that when his money comes, I use that to feed the birds. Then unfortunately, when the time was due, the person gave me a story. So he didn't give me the money. Now I have birds. How do I feed them? And if you don't feed them even a day, all of them will die. And you don't have money. So you see the kind of stress, the pressure that you go through. So based on this personal experience, I advise people that you please wait. That you please wait. That you please wait and get your funds ready before you start your product or service. If the person promised you ending of the month, please wait for the ending of the month before you start. Don't say, oh, I'll get it by the ending of the month, so let me start now. No, wait for it. Because the
Wow.
person might fail by the ending of the month. And then you have started with your little. What will you do? The business will collapse. And then you come back to square zero. You lose your investment as well. That is what is happening to most startups in Ghana now. And that is why most startups are not being successful. If you open up for others to share, you see they might have similar experiences like mine. People promise you, I'll give you this. Oh, your idea is nice. You next month come. And you go, another
Mr.
story.
Robert,
Hello, yeah, I'm hearing you.
I wish we could give you all our time to speak today because I'm really
wrapping
enjoying
up.
it.
I'm wrapping up.
Okay. Okay.
I'm wrapping up. I'm wrapping up.
Thank you.
So in summary, when you want to start business in Ghana, don't take the legalities on the lighter side. Take it serious. Because see, when you go through these things, that is when every donor partner will support you. Because when you apply for grant and they ask for your operating permit and you don't have it, nobody will give you the grant. So please and please again, let us not start from the bottom where we start with our product development and then we start looking for funds. Is it the problem now? Let's start from the top down, not from the down to top. And I believe that if you're able to do this, our business will be successful and then we can thrive and succeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
Rashid.
Wow. I'm really impressed. Honestly, that was a beautiful and powerful presentation by Mr. Roberts. Definitely, when he mentions SWOT analysis, I wish I had stick through my classes, my business entrepreneurship classes in final year. I used to skip classes a lot, by the way. So yeah, that was a very good one. I know that I need talented people to make my business thrive, and then I should not start if I do not have the funds from the idea stage through to developing my product or service. Thank you so much. That was a lot of learning for us. Has been introduced already, but of course, given her worth of experience, she deserves another mention. Definitely, Dr. Cecilia Tutudankwa is our next speaker. She's a founder and leader of 2C Group of Companies, an amalgam of companies ranging from 2C Experts Consult, 2C Hospitality Center, and 2C Organization. Ladies and gentlemen, she's a professional teacher, by the way. She's a lecturer at the University of Ghana, Legon. She's a fanatical writer, a distinguished social entrepreneur, and a compassionate counseling psychologist. Please help me welcome Dr. Cecilia Tutu Dankwa. Doctor, you may go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you all for joining this amazing. Thank you, Robert, for your presentation. It's awesome. The good thing you have done is that you've taken part of my time to speak for part of my presentation. Kudos. Yeah, the organizers felt you were taking my time, but actually you were really doing my work for me. And I appreciate that. So I also want to thank the organizers for considering me as one of the speakers. I have only 20 minutes and I pray I would work within that. Like I said earlier, Robert has done great work. He has spoken part of the legalities. I'm taking you the legalities in there. And he had taken part of it. He has spoken about the legalities when it comes to your registration, what you should do at the regional level, what you should do at the district level, and all that. So I'll go straight to legalities in the persons you'll be working with. Every organization works with human beings. Even if you are the only person working, you are the person working there. If you are an employer, an employee yourself, then it means you are the only person working in there. And there are certain things you need to do. First of all, just like Robert said, after you've done the registration with GRA and all that, and once you are working with people, you will need to register with SNIT and then pay your SNIT contribution to your workers or for your workers. And that will mean that you have people you are going to pay. It is a legal demand, and not only legal, religious and moral demand to pay people you work with. Now, once you start working with people and you decide not to pay them, the only name that is given to you is a refined thief. Someone who is a thief but has established a company to steal from people. You steal their energy, you steal their ideas, and you fail to pay them. Even if it's an NGO that you are operating, you are using people's skills, energy, and all that, and you need to pay them. It is a legal, moral, and spiritual demand that you shouldn't take it for granted. Even if someone offers to guarantee or volunteer and work with you, find in your heart to make some legal, moral, social demand and pay the person a token. This will help you always get people on board to help. So that is the payment aspect. Now, if you don't pay the person and the person wants to take you on legally, they can report. And once they report you, trust me, the law will take its course against you. And then once it comes in for the payments, when you are paying the person, then you need to pay the person's contribution as well. We have contract staffs. At first, that's used to exist. Now, contract staffs are not really recognized so much. It is said that once the person is working for you, then there's nothing like contracts. So if the people are intern, maybe people from school, they want to come and have internship with you, then that one, you don't pay SNIT. If they are volunteers, you don't pay SNIT. But once you call them staff and they work continuously with you for 6 months, then they are your staff. So you can't term them as contract. At first, what people were doing was that they will let you come 3 months, and then you say you renew your contract. 3 months, you renew your contract. So you see a company with about 20 people, and they'll tell you that they are all contract staff. It's not recognized, it's illegal. And when you are found, you pay penalty. So we need to really take care of that. Now, Robert spoke about the registration. The legal aspect of the registration, when you are done, is also for you to renew. It is a legal mandate that once you register your company, whichever type you register, you need to renew it every year. And they have requirements. When you go to their website or you go to their office, the requirements are there that you need to put in place to renew. The same thing applies to the community permits that you pick. You need to renew them every year. Now, when you employ someone, and you know that this is my staff, I'm paying the person, I'm paying the SSNIT. You have other legal things concerning code of conduct and code of practice and procedures. You won't stand up one day and say, this is my work. I'm the CEO. I'm the Oboro. So you, this staff, I said something, you didn't do it, sir, I sack you. Someone will say, I sack you, you take them. No. Legally, if you are sacking a staff, you need to give that person 3 months, depending on what the person did. If you are laying off the person because maybe you don't have the strength to pay and all that, there are legal things you need to follow. You don't just wake up one day and sack the person. You would cause a lot of harm to the person's life and the families that depend on the person. Unless it is a criminal issue. If the person steals the company assets or does something, then that one, you report it as a crime, and then they take their course and you stand by it, and the law would deal with the person. But you as an owner will not just wake up and say that, oh no, I've sacked you. Now, what I'm coming to say is really not legal, but a best practice. When you establish a company, even though the company is yours, but for best practice, pay yourself. And you need to pay your SSNIT. If only you also work for the company. Unless otherwise you established it and then you have given it to people and you yourself, you are not working there. If you are not working there, then of course you can't pay yourself. But if you are working there, either you are a supervisor, or you go there once a month to work, you are still a staff. And then you need to make those legal or best practice commitment towards yourself. The legal things you need to do at your premise, which we usually take it for granted, is that safety of your staff in terms of where they come to work. If you put staff at a place that is dangerous and you either ignore it or deliberately do that, when something happens to them and then you have found that you were careless about protecting their life, you'll be charged for causing damage to them. And the amount that you pay, depending on the lawyer that speaks to them or speak for them, you can't stand it. So you need to cautiously take care of the safety of your workers and your customers at where you are practicing. Safety about fire is very important. Environmental protection is very important. And it is demanded legally that you go to them, you license, they come and do the test, and then you display your safety certificate. It needs to be displayed boldly there for both customers and workers to be aware of what is really happening. All right. Is someone calling my attention?
No, please go ahead. Hello.
Oh, what's happening?
Hello, Dr. Cecilia.
Hello.
Yes, please. Doctor, we can
Can you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Kindly go ahead.
Oh, what's happening?
Oh. Dr. Cecilia.
Hello.
Yes, please. We can hear you. Kindly go ahead. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's back
Okay.
now.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. So kindly go ahead.
Okay. So these are some of the legal things that you need to consider as a starter. Well, if you advance, and this one, if you are willing, then you may be coming in more of staff welfare, which is also a good practice. Because I'm supposed to talk about the legal and then the best practices as well. Now we have general things like life assurance policies that, and then health policies that you can engage your staff. That one is not legal. If you don't do it, no one will come and arrest you. By the time, depending on the kind of work you're doing, it supports the growth. We have other ones like HR policies. After the HR policies, someone will say they are some. Why? Because we have some troublesome staff that will always want to rise against your authority. So they would want to find out this work that I'm doing, what's my code of conduct? What do I need to do? What shouldn't I do? What time do I report? What are my leave days? Because it is labor law. Under labor law, workers need to enjoy certain benefits. And it's really critical. They would come at you on that. Because every employer is seeking high productivity, some may not even consider the rest, the mental health, the peace of mind of their staff. So for them, it's work, 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 work. They have the legal right to rest. So if you take to see, for instance, on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, our office is closed. It's a midday. We close. All staff should go and rest. If you don't rest and you use it to work, it's your own case. But for me, I've done my duty to get you rest. You need to consciously take notes of these and implement them. If you are employing people, you need to get what we call the sexual harassment policy. Now, this one too has become more of HR policy and documents. Such that if there's anyone that is being harassed, the person must be bold enough to speak out. And this must tell us as employers or company owners that when we are employing people, we should be careful the kind of people we employ. And we ourselves should be careful that we don't ask people to pay to be employed, either in cash or in kind. We employ people based on their skills and based on the requirements you have advertised, and not because of their cash or anything they are giving you in kind. So we need to also take care of this. So for a starter, I believe these few ones will be okay for you for now. I will leave the next 10 minutes for questions. I will be getting into the studio for live TV presentation on mental health. So I'll have to get set, but I'll hand over to our able organizers and then stay in for question and answers before I leave. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Cecilia. Thank you very much. That was so informative and comprehensive. Thank you so much. But if I heard you right, you'll be leaving the meeting very soon.
Yes, please.
Okay, because we actually scheduled the time for questions and answers. And since you have 10 minutes, we will allow our audience to ask their questions. Kindly direct all questions to the comment or chat box, and then we will address them, as many as possible. Thank you very much. So please, if you have any question, kindly let's be fast about that and type them in our comment box. Also, do not forget to share the link across all your social media platforms to your colleagues and friends to join. I've learned so much. We have a lot of speakers today, and just with two, as someone who wants to start a business, I guess you know what to do, what not to do, how to do it right. And I can't wait to have the rest of the speakers. So kindly share the link, and if you have any question, direct everything to the chat box, and then we will address as many as possible. Thank you very much. Okay, but as we wait for the questions,
Okay, so if they don't have questions now, that's
okay.
okay. You can leave my number with them. And
Okay.
then if anyone has a data, they can send a chat, and then they will get on. But if any of them also want to get into mental health and counseling, they can also contact me. I do training on that. I provide one-on-one counseling, pre-marriage and all that. So once we've gotten to know ourselves through this platform, they can connect and we will see how together we will build a better Ghana with a sound mental health. But until workers have sound mental health, productivity can be done. Thank you.
Okay, I think I have a few questions now, so let me quickly go through them. From Seram, I don't know if Seram is a lady or a gentleman, but he or she is asking about the registration. Can you please be clear with that? The next question is from Bati Anthony, and then he's asking that is SNIT contribution primarily for pensioners? I'll go through all the questions so that Dr. Cecilia will go straight with the answers for us. The next question is from Gloria, and then she's asking if, please, if I want to start a business, an importation business, where exactly and what steps will I have to follow? Thank you very much. Okay. Our host, Rashid, please, can you inquire from the host whether we can allow our audience to speak? Because I think a few of them would want to voice out
Right.
their questions by themselves. Yes, exactly. But for now,
Right,
let's
Angela.
get back to Dr. Celia to answer the few questions we have.
Yeah, so it is a legal mandate for you to register your staff with SNET and pay. It is legal, it is by law. There are other benefits or pension, retirement benefits, or retirement registration that you can do. But basically, SNET is compulsory. And it's not that for pensioners. You do it towards your staff's pension, so that when they go on retirement, after you have stopped paying them, SNET will take over and pay them based on their benefits. So you don't become a pensioner before you pay SNET. But as you are working, every place that you work, if even you are working at 3 different places, ensure that all those places pay your SNET. And they'll put it together and calculate your retirement for you when it's due.
Okay, I hope you're okay. I hope you're okay with doctor's answer. The next question
Okay,
was if I want to start an importation business, what exactly, or I don't know, I'm not getting it right, but I think that's what she wants to ask. She's asking if she wants to start an importation business, what exactly and what steps would she take?
yeah, I think Robert spoke a lot on that. The first thing you need to
Okay.
do is to register. And when you register, they'll ask you the objective, what you want to do, and all that. So you indicate all that in your registration documents. And
Okay.
then you start, because you are a starter. There are other agencies that if you want to get into importation, you need to register with them. So as a starter, like he said, you need to do your market survey. Look for other organizations that you need to create an alliance with, those who are already in the system. Visit them, find out more, and then they'll be able to tell you more about what to do. I hope
Okay.
that is
Thank
clear.
you very much. I
Yeah.
hope, Gloria, you are clear with this. The next question is, as a new entrepreneur with plenty of ideas but no funding, how can I turn these ideas into reality?
Well, thank you. You see, if you are starting a business idea and what you want to start demands big money, start small. So let me take just one simple example. You want to start selling clothing. I mean, do clothing. Let me take that as simple as it is. You have no money. Start doing something that you can use that small money you have with. So, for instance, you can decide to roast groundnut and sell and get money. And the money that you get from roasting the groundnuts and selling, you can use that to invest in another one and invest in another one. So you just don't get up one day and start with big capital, because the big capitals are not there. And the funding organizations and other thing, like Robert said, before they fund, they also want to see that you are doing something. So start with that small thing that you don't need big money. If you have to sell water to get you that little money to start, do. These days, what is troubling a lot of people is that we want to start big. But if you don't have the big fund, start something small, build it. Because you have the ultimate idea that you want to get there. But you do some small ones to get the funding to get there. You can also rely on family and friends. And that will also mean that you need to be credit worthy. Oh, Charlie, give me 100, or Charlie, give me 200 cedis. I want to start small business. Maybe in a month or two, I'll pay. And when they give, you have to be credit worthy, truthful. Some people, they will pick it, and then later when they see you, they pretend they've forgotten. How can you go back? So you need to consciously be credit worthy to have these kind of supports. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll take the few questions. I think Sarah wanted to talk, but then she's been able to type. He or she is asking if 3 people want to start a business and decided to register as a sole proprietorship in one person's name, what are some legal documentations they can do to indicate the business is for 3 of them?
Yeah, you have to sign an MOU. The basic and the common document that will bind you is MOU, Memorandum of Understanding.
Okay.
That is
Okay,
the 3
thank
of you
you.
that
Hello, Dr. Cecilia.
you want to, yeah, so you use the Memorandum of Understanding to bind you.
Okay, I think we will reserve the
something.
remaining questions for later. I'll read the last one. I'll take the last one, and then we can hold on to the other ones coming. Maxwell is asking, how many employees must I have to begin paying for SNIT?
Even if it's one, you need to pay. There's no number. Once you have employed the person, then you need to pay.
Okay. From Sayram again now, after you answered that they need to sign an MOU, she's asking that is the law from court or a normal paper? That's for the MOU.
The MOU, yeah, it depends on how you want to take it. But it's an agreement between the 3 of you. And once the 3 of you sign, it's binding. It can be used as evidence for whenever there's argument.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope you're okay.
But please, can I ask something?
Okay, go ahead.
You see, personally, based on personal experience I've encountered, I would advise that they go for a company limited by shares rather. Because mostly per the company act, sole proprietorship is primarily for one person, not 2. So when you do the MOU, though it's legal binding, but in terms of the company act law, it's not valid. So somebody can get a lawyer to put that aside, and then you might run at a loss. So I would advise that if you are going by the Company Registration Act, then we go by the company. You register a company limited by shares. Then each one, based on your contribution, get a portion of the shares. Then you continue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Iwa. For now, due to time, I'll encourage all our audience to keep directing their questions and suggestions to the chat box, and then we'll address all of them later. Next, I would like to address our third speaker. Thank you very much, Dr. Cecilia. Thank you so much. So as you said, we will leave the contact and your social media handles in the chat box as well, so they can direct their messages to you when the need be. Thank you very much for your time. Okay, so our next speaker is Mr. Sylvester N. Ewa, and he will present for just 15 minutes. But quickly, I'd want to read his beautiful profile, but due to time, I think the team would project Mr. Sylvester's profile so we can all go through as I read. I don't know if Mr. Sylvester is around. Mr. Sylvester.
Yes, please, I'm around.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think he has a very brief and beautiful profile, so I'll go through quickly and then he can take the next 15 minutes for his presentation. So Sylvester Nanewa is a seasoned accounting professional with experience in financial consulting and auditing. He has worked with Accountech financial consult and is currently serving as the senior accounting assistant to the Faculty of Engineering at the University of Mines and Technology. Additionally, he is an active member of the Apostolic Professionals Network Committee and the Apostolic Church, Ghana, Takwa Area Audit Team. With his expertise in accounting and auditing, Sylvester is a valuable asset to any organization. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our next speaker as he takes the next 15 minutes. Mr. Sylvester, the virtual floor is yours.
Hello. All right, thank you very much. I'm trying to share my screen. I think I'm not being allowed to do that.
Okay. We will speak to the technical team to give you the permission to do that soon.
All right.
As we wait, kindly try and share the link to your colleagues and your friends to join. I have learned so much, and we still have a few more speakers. And I love the ones who have already shared their insightful messages. So kindly share the link to your friends and colleagues to join as well, so they do not miss out. Okay, I think we have
All right, so I think
your
my
slides
slides
now.
in. All right. So yeah, I will be speaking more of bookkeeping and record taking. But if you can take note of the heading, the comedy of bookkeeping. The reason I used that is most people start business and they try ignoring bookkeeping with the aim of succeeding at the end of the day. But bookkeeping and record taking is something you can never do away with. If you want to succeed in business, you would have to start with that. So if you can go to the next slide, it would have been a great pleasure to. All right, sure. So now by the end of the day, I'm expecting that we should understand what bookkeeping is. We should be able to know the disadvantage, the advantages to it. We will talk about the way out, and also I've been asked or I've been tasked to talk about personal income tax, and that is what we will be doing in the next 15 minutes. Can we please move on? All right. So
yes, please.
With this, I'm focusing mainly on two things. That is maintaining records and bookkeeping. By the end of the section, we should be able to understand what bookkeeping is and what it is to maintain records. Now, these two are quite different, but some entrepreneurs normally mix these two up. Now, bookkeeping it's the daily activity that is solely about bookkeeping. But record taking goes beyond bookkeeping. So please let's go to the next slide and we would delve into these two. That one is just an introduction. Please click on again. All right. Now bookkeeping, what I've written here is the art of keeping an organized record. Now, as a business, you are in to make profits. So you have to know the number of monies or the amount of money that comes into the business on a daily basis, the amount of money that leaves the business on a daily basis. Now, without this, you won't be able to know whether you are making profits or you are making a loss, whether the company is healthy or whether it's suffering from any kind of disease. So what I have down there is just a sample of how bookkeeping is. So I just took a sample of, let's say, someone who is into the sales of laptop, phones, mobile phones, and other accessories. So on the 1st of January, he was able to make a sale of laptop and he bought an income of 2,300. So this is a structure for keeping your books. That is recording the cash that came in and the cash that left. Now on the following day, on the same day, he was able to make another sale of a charger which cost for 30 cedis, adding up to what he already had made. Now there was an expense on the 5th of January. Now the expense would have to be deducted from this the sales that you've already made. Now the balance is already being shown. And probably let's say at the end of the year, he paid some of his workers amounting to 1,200. Then the following day, he also made still. Now the bookkeeping solely, as I said, helps you know the money that comes into the business, the money that leaves the business. Now, if you don't keep this book, at the long run, you would be finding it difficult to prepare your financial statement, because this is an important tool that would help you prepare your financial statement. Let me give you an experience I had a call from one of the schools in Takwa, I won't mention the name, and he had been billed to pay some taxes to GRA, and he wanted someone to defend him. So my number was given to him, he called. We had a conversation, then I told him, before I can go speak with GRA, we'd have to prepare a financial statement, present it to them, and that is where we would have a case. Asked for his records and he has nothing to show for. Now, with this, you can't prepare a financial statement and you don't even have a case with the GRA. So bookkeeping is very, very necessary as an entrepreneur. You have to record every single thing that comes into the business and every single thing that leaves the business. It's very essential. Let's go to the record keeping. Now, as I said, record keeping goes beyond the bookkeeping. The bookkeeping is only about the money that comes in and leaves. But with record keeping, it's a systematic procedure of recording a company or organization's financial activities and transactions. Now, with this one, it's not just about the money that comes in, but it's about everything that goes on within the business. So now, it's about your sales. The sales is the revenue that you are getting. It's about your expenses. Please, let's move on. It's about your purchases. Let's say if you are into the buying and selling operations, I would consider what Doc said. Let's say you want to be buying clothes and selling. You would have to record the quantity that you purchased, at what cost that you purchased them. You have to keep records of all those things. Now, these ones would help you know the number of stocks you've sold out, the number of stocks you still have available. So without keeping these records, you won't be able to know these ones. Now we have assets. Now, let's say companies or entrepreneurs would want to go into activities or businesses where you would have to be purchasing assets like vehicles, you would want to be putting up structures. Now you would have to do what we call the asset register. The date that you bought the asset, the purpose of the asset, the number of days, and those ones would help you know or help you depreciate your assets. Now, when all these records are not being put in place, you find yourself wanted. You have what we call the employee records. You've employed people. You don't even have a data of your employees. You don't even have their telephone numbers. You don't have any record of their relatives. And when there is an issue, who do you contact? How do you get to know them? Let's say an employee runs with your money. How will you be able to track the person? You would have to take records of all these. Oh, please, let's move on. Customer information. I know businesses who have customers and they don't really care much about the customer. All they know is the customer will call them, oh, please, I need this stuff. You go and supply and that's all. No, you have to get their information. Where there's the especially with credit sales customers, those that buy goods from you on credit, whether on credit or with cash, you have to get their information, but especially those that buy on credit. Let's say you're giving them a credit note or probably a credit limit for 2 weeks. Now the 2 weeks is due. You don't want to go take back your money, but how do you go find them if you don't have all these records now? Now you have inventory. And the inventory is same as your stocks. So when you've made purchase of goods and you don't record down, you don't record them. Let's say you do sell cakes, these sneakers. You're able to purchase 20 sneakers that of yesterday, and you didn't record it. How will you be able to know that out of the 20 sneakers, I've been able to sell 10 out of it? So all these things are very necessary. And the next thing we need to record is our suppliers' information. Those that give out goods to you. You have to record their information and also build some kind of relationship with them. Let's say people give you goods on credit, you buy goods on credit from them. You have to get their information. So that when you are so related with your suppliers, there could be a time they are relocating from their old office to a new office. Now, because you are so good with them, they will be able to inform you earlier. Because you have their information, you contact them on a regular basis, they will be able to let you know of their next move. Some would even prefer give you the goods, even when you are not ready to pay. They will give it to you because they have that trust issue with them. You have their information, they have yours. You're able to contact them whenever you need something. Even when you don't need goods from them, you should be contacting them because you have their information. Can you please move on? Now, people tend to do away with this record keeping, thinking they can succeed at the end of the day. But one thing I can assure you, without record keeping and bookkeeping, the business will suffer. One of the risks is there will be financial uncertainty. You won't be able to know whether you're making profit or loss. You won't be able to. You won't be able to pin out when a particular goods was purchased, when a particular sale was made. So let's say you've handed over the business to a group of people, you aren't with them. Now you come back and they tell you that, oh, we're able to sell, let's say, 2,000. They've been able to make sales. When you go to the shelves, you've seen that the amount or the goods that they've sold should amount to like 2,000. But with a physical cash, they're having just like 1,500 or 1,200 cedis without any record keeping. How will you be able to trace to know that indeed the goods that are not on the shelves were actually sold by them? And that would even help you to know where the rest of the money is. So it's when you don't record your books, it gives you that financial uncertainty. Now we have missed opportunity. When Doc and my boss were speaking, they made mention of getting up support from grants, loans, and you yourself, you would have to be prepared. So there has been a situation where I've gone for pitching for people where they would ask, where are your financial statements? What's your revenue? What is your expected, what are your projections? Now they would want to see how your business is doing, how you would, or you predict your business to do in the next 5 or 10 years to come. Now, it's the current state of the business that would help you know your projections. But here's the case, you don't have any record to help you prepare your financial statements. How would you be able to get these opportunities? Now, when you don't have them, definitely you're going to miss them. And you might think someone somewhere, a rich somewhere, your grandmother somewhere that is against you. No, nobody isn't. It's because you were not able to keep records of your books. Now you have increased fraud risk, as I made mention of. Now, any business which doesn't keep record of its books turn out to face these issues. Now, people would start stealing from you because they know you don't keep records of your books. That's what you've been doing, and they are taking over from you. So they can easily tap into your money, spend your money anyhow they want it. Please, let's move to the next one. Now, legal reputational damage. At the end of the year, you would have to submit your document to GRA so they would get to know the tax that you are supposed to pay. Here's the case, you don't have any financial statement, you don't have any records. That would help you prepare your financial statement. When you get there, or when they come, it's a whole lot of help. They would just look around, look at your business, the kind of things you do, and they will give you any amount to pay. And you can't defend yourself. And that brings about legal damage. That brings about legal damage. And you will turn up losing more money paying the GRA people. But if you had keep good records of your books, you would have probably paid 1/3 of whatever money that they are bringing onto you. Now we have lack of accountability. I think I've made mention of it in regards to the increase of fraud risk. You won't be able to account for your activities. You won't be able to know whether you're making money or you're making losses. Now, difficulty in budgeting. Every business will have to forecast. And before you forecast, you have to know your current state, as I mentioned earlier. So you want to budget for the year 2025, or probably want to budget for next month. You want to budget for the number of goods you would purchase, you want to have a projected sales. But since you don't have any records, that would help you know your current state. Trust me, you won't be able to prepare your budget. You won't be able to know your projections the next year to come. And the last one is inefficient tax preparation. You won't be able to know the amount of money you would pay as a tax. Now, I would be talking of income tax, but let me bring this in. You see, at the end of the year, you are supposed to pay tax on the income that you've made. Here's the case, you don't even know your income. How will you be able to prepare your tax on the income of which you don't even know? So the record keeping is very necessary. If you don't prepare them, you stand at all this risk. Can you please move on to the advantages? When you prepare them, what are some of the rewards? There is financial transparency. You will be able to know whatever that goes on, whether the business is strong, whether you would have to go in for a loan, whether you have to bring in someone else to help you financially. It makes you see the ins and the outs of the business. Now, let's say I have started my business. I do keep records. Now, I want to hand over the business to someone else to continue. Because I do take records, the person will have to continue with what I'm doing. And that would help me know how the business is doing, even when I am absent. So it helps you, it gives a financial transparency. Now, accurate decision making. Let's say you prepared your account, you have an accurate records of all your sales, of all your expenses. Now, in a case you would want to increase or expand your business, because you have these records in place, you'll be able to know when and how to expand this business. You'll be able to know what other business that I must pursue. But if you don't have this, decision making becomes very difficult for you. It's more or less like someone making projections or probably making budget with expected money. Someone has promised you money and you are using those funds to make your projections or your budget. What if the money doesn't come? Just as my boss said earlier, that he was relying on someone's promise to start his business. So when you don't prepare your records, you are mostly just like that person. It makes decision making very difficult. But if you have them, decision making is very accurate. Business evaluation. As I said, it helps you know your strengths. It helps you know your weaknesses. It even helps you know whether you are able to compete with your competitors, because your financials will help you know whether you're on the same level with your competitors or you are not on the same level with them. So it helps you evaluate your business. All right, historical reference. I'll give an experience on this. I remember when I was doing my service with University of Mines and Technology, there was a time our boss came around and they were looking for a payment that was made in the year 2018. I imagine there was no records on that. We had to go through our archives, look for that particular payment. Now just imagine there was no records on that. How are you going to explain to your bosses that, oh, there was no records on that? Now here's the case, around 2018, I wasn't with them. But because they keep records of all the activities, I was able to find those records or that particular payment for them. So now when you keep good records, it helps you go back for whatever thing that you would want, whatever payment or sales that you are looking for, you'll be able to get them. Now we have accountability and audit. At the end of every year, at the end of probably some do it quarterly, some do it on the yearly basis. You have to account for your business. You see, as a businessman, you should know. Even when you are sleeping and someone wakes you up, you should be able to tell whether you're making business or you're making loss. You are making profit or you're making loss. But if you don't prepare these things, you won't be able to tell. Now, the records keeping would also help auditors audit or give you an accurate audit of your books. But here's the case, you don't have it. I don't know any auditor who would spend time to come and audit you when you don't have any records. But if you do have them, it makes auditing quite smooth. Now, risk reduction. It reduces the fraud rate. It reduces your chances of going into bankrupt, and it reduces your chances of having issues with these taxmen. Yeah, it really helps that. And that is the tax compliance. You do comply to taxes or the art of taxes. So let's say I'm able to make 1,000 cedis at the end of the year. I know the tax rate to be 25% on my income. I've calculated, I know I'm supposed to send 250 to GRA. I've gone to GRA, I've filed my taxes, I've paid my 250 cedis. I don't have any issue with GRA. Why is the case? I don't even know my profit for the year. I don't even know what I've made at the end of the year. It could be that you've even made the loss at the end of the year, but because you don't know, Now, when you make losses, taxes or the income tax is on the income that you make. But here's the case, you've made a loss, so you don't have to pay a tax. But in a situation where you don't have the records to determine whether you made a loss, you would have to definitely pay, because to them, you don't have any records indicating that you've made a loss. So to them, you would have to pay. But when you have those records, you just comply to those taxes. Then financial planning. It helps you plan for the future. It helps you know. I would again take, let's say, schools like, I'll take the bigger institutions. Now, because of good record taking, they're able to estimate that in the coming years, these are the number of students we would want to admit. Now, admitting this number of students, these are the amount of money we are expecting to have. Now, all this is based on records that they already have. That would help them plan towards the future. Please, we can move on. All right, so I'll move on to the personal income tax. Personal income taxes imposed on individuals' income. Now, these taxes are solely on what you make. Some it's at the end of the month, some it's at the end of the year. I'll explain all those ones. But it's solely on your income. Now, when I'm talking of income, I'm talking of all your sales, deducting all your expenses, probably for the year or for the month. And that becomes your income. When your sales is more than your expenses, the remaining amount becomes your income. And when your revenue, when your expenses is more than your revenue, the difference becomes your loss. But
Hello,
this
Mr.
tax is
Sylvester. Sorry
solely
to
on.
interrupt. We are really enjoying our
Okay.
conversation, but if you could please wrap up in the interest of time in the
All
next
right,
few
sure,
minutes.
no problem. Sure, no problem. Thank you very much. All right. So as I was saying, we have those with a personal income tax. We have some types to it. We have the pay as you earn. That is what we normally know, PAYE. Those ones is solely on how should I put it? On our monthly incomes that you make. So if you are someone who takes notes of your pay slip, or probably you are an entrepreneur, you are taxed to pay or deduct pay as you earn from your employee's salary, and then you pay those monies to GRA. You file them, then you pay them to GRA. Now you have the pension income tax. Now every pensioner also has an amount of money, or there is a rate that they do pay to GRA. Then you have other income tax, of which recently we saw a hula by on that. That is taxes on beds, taxes on it's on beds. Then this, I'm trying to get the lotto, all those kind of people. Yeah, there are taxes on them, and it's also quite mandatory by law. They have self-employment income tax. Now this one is basically for the employers, those that do employ you. Now they are also entitled to pay tax at the end of the year from the income that they make. Please, let's move to the next one. All right, so this will be my last slide. That is tax relief. Now, though we have to pay taxes to the government, we have to pay taxes to GRA, but there are some reliefs that we get, or there are some, how should I put it? There are some incentives that we are given. Now, it's based on some clarifications. So let's say at the end of the month, I'm supposed to pay a tax of 200 cedis. And the government looks at certain activities, then they do intend to reduce the amount for me. So instead of me paying 200 cedis, based on certain circumstances, I will be asked to pay, let's say, 120 cedis, of which the remaining 80 cedis will come back to me. So the first one is basic relief. That is, they probably look at your taxable income. They will reduce your taxable income for you. So that one solely deals with SNET. Now, before your PAYE is being calculated, SNET is being deducted from your basic salary before they calculate the tax or the PAYE on the remaining amount, so that at least you would be okay. If they have to calculate your PAYE on the main or the basic salary, that would be very huge. So they have to deduct the SNET. And have in mind, because it's an income tax, those that earn more tend to pay more than those that earn less. Now we have the dependent relief. Now when they get to know, or probably there is a form that you would have to fill. That is the tax relief. I'll talk about that. Now, when they get to know that you are taking care of an elderly person, you have children, you have a spouse, they have reliefs for all those people. And if you have a disabled person too, they have a relief for that. Then if you want to further education, they also have a relief for that. Now, when you want to go for all these reliefs, you would have to go to GRA. They have a tax relief form. You fill those forms where you indicate all these things. Then they would look at that to help you reduce your taxes or the tax that you are supposed to pay. That is the tax obligation. Because of time, I think I would read my conclusion and really would end here. In summary, maintaining accurate records and understanding personal income tax are vital for financial stability. They ensure informed decision-making, regulatory compliance, and effective tax management. By embracing this practice, individuals and businesses can optimize their financial outcomes, navigate challenges confidently, and build a foundation for long-term prosperity and success in ever-evolving financial landscape. So, thank you very much, Mr. Daniel Ewusi and the team for giving me this opportunity. I will be welcoming questions at this moment.
Thank you, Mr. Sylvester. Thank you so much for the presentation. Your presentation was spot on. I was constantly reminded of this statement by my mentor. He tells me that you cannot improve on anything you don't have data or records on. Every step through your presentation, I was reminded of this statement. Thank you so much for the presentation. I know we have a lot of questions. Mr. Robert's presentation to Dr. Cecilia and now Mr. Sylvester. Please drop your questions in the chats. In due time, we would read them for our speakers to address them. Our last speaker for this session to put some ice on the cake for us, of course, is Mr. Shadrach Ihrin. He is a seasoned finance and investment professional. He has a 10-year track record in sales, having worked with reputable institutions, and he currently works as a business relationship officer for CalBank Takwa. Kindly help me welcome Mr. Shadrach Ihrin. Mr. Shadrach, if you can hear me, you may go ahead.
All right. Good evening, team. Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Shadrach.
Good evening.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Usidan Consulting team, for giving me this opportunity. Since we've spent most of the time, I will take only 10 minutes to finish my presentation. And thank you, Robert, Sly, and Dr. Cecilia for your presentation too. And for my presentation, I'll be touching 4 questions, and I will go through as quick as possible. The first question has to do with when to open an account as a startup. And the second question has to do with how to open an account with a bank as a startup, and what benefits are there for you after opening or operating the account as a startup. And the last question has to do with where to open account as a startup. And I believe after this presentation, each of us will know where to start and where to end when dealing with a bank as a startup. Then let me start with the first question: when to open an account as a startup. Once you are 100% confident to own a business, you are good to open an account. Or maybe if you have partners, or let me see, if you partner someone based on the business plan, you are good to go to have an account as a startup. Or once you have a laid down structures, for example, if you have your cost structure in place, if you have your ownership structure in place, if you have your investment structure in place, you are good to go to open an account with any bank. But the cost structure as a startup, you need to know your cost of sale. It's very important. Cost of sale. And if you are into services, you need to know the cost of services or the cost of service you are providing. You need to know your wages. You need to know other expenditure, which all of these fall under the cost structure. And when you come to ownership structure, I believe my bosses, they've talked about it. The ownership structure, we have the sole proprietor, we have either by shares or either by joint ventures, either by company. So you need to decide. And the investment structure, you need to put down if you want to plow back any profit into the company, or you want to invest in any other businesses. That's the profit coming from your previous business. You are using it for another business. You need to also put down those structure in place. Another point is, once you have a market base to start with as a startup, I would advise you open an account first. At least if you open an account, you create or you make your customers be convenient, like have your number convenient, or yeah, hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Mr. Shadrach. Please go ahead.
All right, thank you. So as I was saying, you need to have your market base. Immediately you get your market base, you have to open an account with a bank. And lastly, once you have a business registration document, you are good to go. And Robert and Slide, they talk lengthy about getting a business registration document. Now, the next question has to do with how to open an account with a bank as a startup. First of all, you need to get your business registration document. And for sole proprietor or for sole proprietorship, we are going to require a Form A and a business certificate. And if it's a specialized business, then we will require a license. And I think Robert spoke about getting a license. So if you are dealing in a specialized business like gold, like hospitality, like other specialized business, you need to get license from EPA, maybe from Tourist Board, from Minerals Commission, etc. And again, you need to get your identification card. And nowadays, all banks are taking Ghana card. So you need to take good care of your Ghana card. You have to bring a passport picture. So if it's a company or limited liability, you need to bring all the 3 or the 4 people involved in the company, their passport picture. And then you need to get your initial deposit as well. And lastly, you need to select an account type. And Robert spoke about it. We have a business savings and you have a business current. And as a startup, I will recommend a business savings to you. And you need to also request for electronic platform from these banks, because nowadays we are going into digitalization whereby a customer can pay you in his comfort, not going to the customer's shop or not going to the customer's house to take that money from him. The next question, that's the third question, will be what benefits are there for you operating a business account as a startup? First of all, you have access to your funds anywhere, and since it's a savings account, you would be paid interest on it as other source of income to you. Payment by your clients or markets will be easier and convenient. That they can pay you through checks, they can pay you through electronic platforms. That will be convenient for them. And lastly, it will boost your creditors' confidence to supply you more goods or items. So in case you have a business account, most of these creditors will take post-dated checks and they will supply you when the time is due. They will pay in the check into the account, and it will boost their confidence with you. Access to a facility. I think Robert and Dr. Cecilia highlighted more about it. And as Sly also said, in getting these facilities, you need to bring your financial statement, you need to bring your books for the bank to go through. And also this facility will help you augment your capital, also help you finance your LPOs, because those of us who want to maybe enter into the supply industry, and also bridge the operational expenditure gap in terms of salaries, in terms of other expenditures. The fourth question has to do with where to open an account as a startup. For me, I will say, first of all, search for a credible and licensed financial house. Mostly the commercial banks are there, and you need to select a bank that is in Ghana, all over Ghana, and even international. It will go a long way to help you. And also look for a bank that is into digitalization. So as I previously said, banks are going digital. So you have to also run along with it, and also take your customers through the digitalization process, so that at any point in time, you get your money. At any point in time, you get your money. And also, if you want to pay your creditors, you can also pay it in your comfort zone. In your house, you can pay it. In your office, you can pay them by using checks, by using the bank's app, etc. And also look for a bank that is customer-centric. That is a bank that considers customers first before their money. And I always say, nowadays, banking relationship. Because if you go to Bank A, they are selling business savings, they are selling business current. If you go to Bank B, they are doing the same. So the unique feature among them is relationship. And as a relationship officer, I always get in touch with my customers to know their challenges, to give them solutions, to even assist them in their various transactions. And having said that, I will highly recommend CowBank for any startup here, because, as I said, we sell relationship. We don't sell products. And again, after you've opened an account with CowBank, you'll be given a dedicated relationship manager to manage your account, irrespective of the account type. If it's a business savings, if it's a business current, you have a dedicated relationship manager. And also, this year we've named it a year of e-channels, whereby we sign all our customers on our e-channel products. That we have the CowNet, we have the CowPay, we have the extended USSD, we have the POS, which accept both mobile money and Visa card. And with the loans too, we are running a program whereby the women doing their own business are given the opportunity to access a loan with a reduced rate. I will entreat the ladies here to come over for us to have a discussion. They will take it from there. All right. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shadrach. I always learn one particular thing from you, but today I think I've learned more. So if you're a lady here, you heard him right, rush to CowBank and then go and ask about them, their services, and he'll be of help. Now we'll be moving straight to our questions and answers, but before that, don't forget that Negros Hub is allowing our audience and individuals to book their space for meetings. So yes, to book a Zoom space for your virtual programs, kindly contact the numbers displayed on the screen. We'll take a very brief and quick commercial break from our technical team. Can we have Mr. Ewusidan's consult advert, please? Okay, even though we are getting closer to the end of the program, but it's not too late. You can share the link to your colleagues and friends as we are taking this advertisement. Please, can you have the sound? Okay, as we take this advertisement session, kindly direct all your questions to the chat box, and then we'll address as many as we can right after this session. So at Ewusi Dance Consult, if you want to start a business, as they've already mentioned, with licenses, permits, business registration certificates, birth certs, gazettes, change of name and date of birth, passports, whatever that has been displayed here, look no further. Kindly contact the numbers displayed on our screens for those services. Ghana card, health insurance. Okay, so that's it. You can take a screenshot or pick up the contacts and consult them immediately we are done, or anytime it is suitable. So we'll go straight to read a few questions we have now. The first question is from Harry, and he's asking, what are the common financial mistakes new entrepreneurs make, and how can I avoid them? How can I effectively control costs without compromising on quality? This particular question wasn't directed to anyone, so I guess any of our speakers available can answer. The next question is, please, on issues of receipts, if you have a business and some of your expenses don't have receipts, how do you file them during financial statements?
Okay, so I think I would talk of the issues with the receipt. Then, all right. So I made mention of what we call the ANA certificate. Now that is, let's say you've gone to purchase goods from someone. You've incurred certain expenses. Now you were not issued out receipt. We have what we call the ANA certificate, of which you, the entrepreneur, would have to prepare one yourself. Now, the ANA certificate shouldn't be one that you prepare, then the following week you have a different format of ANA certificate. It should be one that it will be accepted by you throughout for your number of years of operation. Now, the ANA certificate, the amount that is supposed to be on it shouldn't exceed 500 cedis. It should never exceed it. And don't make it a habit that the ANA certificate is mostly for petty expenses that we make that we hardly get receipt for. Something like transportation, you don't get receipt for transportation. You get it. So those are the ones that we normally use ANA certificate for. But aside that, whatever thing that you do, you should request for receipt. Now, when the person tells you they don't have a receipt, you can go to GRA. They do sell out their tax, their VAT receipt. They do sell it. You can purchase one. When they tell they don't have a receipt, give them one, let them write the receipt for you. Then you take it along. I don't know if I've answered the question.
Right, Mr. Sylvester, I think you got
Yeah,
justice to
please.
it.
Can I do a follow-up on it?
Yeah,
Right,
sure.
please go ahead briefly.
Okay, so with instances where you've made, let's say you just got to know of this annual receipt and then you've already made expenditures about a month ago, how do you make something like that fall within your financial statements?
Okay, so it's records. Now, if possible, you can still go to those people. If they are frequent suppliers of you, you can still go to them, speak with them. They can issue out those receipts for you. Now, if they can't issue those receipts for you, since you have already recorded them in a book, just get a receipt, then write everything to support what you've already recorded in the book.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. The next question is coming from Sayram, and he's asking, which group of businesses pay tax, as in which type of business registration will make you pay tax? The next
All
question from the
businesses
same
do pay
person is
tax.
also asking that, please, is company limited by share the same as partnership business? And also, can a sole proprietorship business registered a joint savings account? If yes, please elaborate on the requirement again. Thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
I'll take the first one.
so
I'll hand over the next. Okay,
so can I take these questions?
Sure, no problem,
Yes,
sir.
please go ahead.
Okay, so you pay tax. When it comes to the tax law, there are different categories of tax. So every business fall within one category or the other. So every business, irrespective of the type of registration you are doing, you are supposed to pay tax. As example is the payee. Once you have employee, you are supposed to deduct their payee and pay to the GRA. So every business, irrespective of the type of registration. The second question, company limited by share is different from partnership. Partnership business is that two or more people, the minimum is two or more people coming together with different skills or abilities to partner and execute a certain work. But when under the Company Act, when it comes to partnership, each person can utilize the partnership deal on its own. So, for example, assuming two people, myself and Ewusi, we register a partnership business. Ewusi alone can use that business to work. Myself alone can use that business to work. That's about partnership. However, when there is a loss, all of us have to pay. So if I use the business and I run at a loss, all of us have to pay. Because under partnership is jointly and severally liable. So both of you can be sued and one person can be sued. So for example, though I use the business to run, but Usi is having more money, they will sue Usi and leave me out. Because they know they can get their money from it. So partnership and company limited by shares are two different things. But I will not encourage any startup to go into partnership for now. It's either you register sole proprietorship, company limited by shares, or company limited by guarantee. These are the three I will recommend based on experience and knowledge about partnership. Because Ghanaians and the people today, we are not loyal. When you are starting, everybody will say the good thing, but in the process, one will commit more than the other, and that is where the problem will come in. And then on the last question, can a sole proprietorship business register a joint savings account? Is it business savings account or joint? Because what I know is that you register a business account rather, and then as he elaborated, you go with the business registration document, that is the certificate, and then the your biodata form attached to it, and then you go with your passport picture, your Ghana card, and then any other requirement the bank will ask, and then you fill a form and then your passport picture, and then the account will be created for you. And then you need to also get your minimum operating balance. It differs from bank to bank. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Rashid, kindly take over, but before he comes, you can keep directing your questions in the chat box. We will address all of them later.
Definitely, Angela. Thank you. Definitely, just like you mentioned, you can direct your questions and then take the numbers that have been displayed on the screens. I am already bustling to start my business already. So I have personally taken a Usidan Consult's number. I'm going to reach out to them right after here, and I know you definitely want to do same. Right. So we have some dignitaries in our midst who squeeze time off their busy schedules to join us. Would be remiss if you do not give them a mention. So definitely, we appreciate your presence here. We have a number of them, business developers, we have executive officers. Definitely, if any of our dignitaries are around, you can quickly unmute and then engage us in about 1 minute's time. Due to the interest of time, would want to hear from you. We have Honorable Michael Abeka. He's a Chief Executive Officer of Empire Group of Companies. We have Mr. Festus Inu. He's a public speaker and a writer. Ms. Deborah Isiama is the president of Enactus Humat. Mr. Blessed Ihunti, sorry if I got that wrong. He's a sales manager at SIC Life Limited. We also have Mr. Isaac Obin. He's a financial secretary to Grasak UEW. Mr. Tony Blankson is the chief executive officer of Dependency Consults. And then Miss Patience as well is a customer relationship officer at Eusidan Consults. And lastly, we have Mr. Barnabas Udum, who is also the chief executive officer of Great Eye Press and more. Right. So, Mr. Michael Abeka, we would love to hear from you. If you can hear us, please go ahead and engage our people in about 1 minute's time. Thank you. Hello.
Hey, Rashid, I guess Mr. Bekan is not around. Can you please move on to the next?
Right. So,
Mr. Bekan is on it, so Mr. Bekan is on it. He's trying to connect.
yeah.
He's
So
on it.
maybe
Okay.
the technical team would have to check on him for us. The
But I
technical
think
team
as we
trying
wait, can
to.
we just quickly move to the next person and then he can come in right after the second speaker?
Right. That works. So definitely, to our dignitaries who are here, if you can hear us, kindly go ahead and unmute. Would love to hear
I
from you.
think his network is not favorable. You can see if you can.
Right. I figured. Mr. Boris Yaman, definitely gender balance. So we'd love to hear from you. Are you here?
Yes, please.
Right.
Thank you so
So
much for this opportunity. Shortly, I just want to thank our main speakers for their wordings. They were so very true. I want to just stem down to what recently happened to us in the process of seeking for fundings for a project. And we landed in GT Bank, and then the manager sat us down and told us the exact things we learned today. The first thing he asked was, do we have a business certificate? And do we have an account with a bank or even GT Bank? And then we were just there. We had nothing. So because of that, we lost that opportunity for the project. What I want to say is to just encourage us all as business startups. Many a times we rush through things to get results, but it's a process. And we've learned the process on this platform, which is so true. If we are going to take it and then build our businesses, it's going to build trust. And then business runs on trust. The more we have the trust, the more we are going to attract investors, not just with our words, but with proofs of our documentations. So I think that is the short thing to encourage us all to take in, even as we leave this platform. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Deborah, for that. Trust and attract. Definitely my takeaway. Right. Ms. Patience, if you're also here, we'd love to hear from you. Honorable Michael, I don't know if you are sorted with your network now. We would love to hear from you. As we wait for Honorable Michael, please go ahead. Any of our dignitaries, if you can hear us, please go ahead and unmute. Our technical team would assist you on that. I would love to hear from you. Mr. Festus, if you are here, would love to hear from you, Mr. Festus. All right. But just so you know, we are truly grateful if you can hear us, our dignitaries who were able to squeeze time off their busy schedules to join us. We are truly grateful for joining us and sharing your own experiences with us. Over to you, Angela. I think we can go ahead with next item on our agenda.
Okay, thank you very much, Rashid. But at this juncture, I think we are almost done. We'll take our last advertisement session, and I'll encourage the media team or the technical team to also post the various links to the speakers' profiles, either on LinkedIn, Instagram, any of the social media platforms, so the audience can direct their remaining questions to them.
Let me opportunities come to the US. Let me hold my passport. And my birth say, while the catch and say, then call a Wisdom Consult Limited. A Wisdom Consult Limited, the idea. They go on how much in it as money say, only a birth certificate registration. Office from the sardine, any date of birth, our birth certificate. Office from your passport application. So open new passport. Also renew biometric passport. Also renew black passport. Also reapply for passport. And I say, then you now want to do one say. Almost some money who says, so the business. The Kaiser Morgana, let me opportunities come to the US. Let me hold my passport. And my birth say, while the catch and say,
Okay, thank you very much.
I was down consult limited. Can
the technical team, Rashid, can they please put up the sound so we can go ahead?
New passport, also renew biometric passport, also renew black passport, also reapply for passports. And I say, then you now want to do what say. Almost somebody who says, so the business certificate for sole proprietor, partners, NGO, any company, almost have to design a brand business, so open logo for the business. Flyer, letterhead, and a business stamp. Almost have to affidavit, gazette, and have a reconciliation of documents and certificate. Almost will say, almost have to sound, and I said, date of birth. Then you now want to do what say. Open crack and swab it in Suja Wakoyam from Subia or Ghana card or driver license or passport or slate card. Any NHIS, one of the almost also link Ghana card at my NHIS card from 0556 267 002 and also say 020 978 5016. Which is a chat to your WhatsApp. It was 0556 267 002 and also say, but in your Google, I'll be for certificate. It was www.ewisidanconsult.com. Ewisidan Consult, Ghana Fanatibia. What the answer bell is on best solving problems. Ewisidan Consult, your solutions.
Okay, thank you very much. So if you joined this and you've now had a change of mind to start up a business, you know where to go to. Ewusidan's Consults. I hope you picked their contact numbers as well. Yes, and our technical team would be posting or projecting the various links to our speakers' LinkedIn profiles and other social media handles. Also, they'll be posting the contact numbers to a few of them. If you would want to reach out later for detailed questions, then okay. I'd like to read Mr. Becker's submission for him because I think he's still having challenges with his speaker. Okay, so he said, powerful presentations. I have really been moved with the presentations. What he will share. Let us be committed to all what we are planning to do. That is the first submission. And the second is be connected to people that can help you survive. This is why Negros Hub is here for you. You can connect to anyone here. The people we bring on board for our meetings as well. And the third one, he's saying your connections will now care for you. Thank you very much, Honorable Abeka, for such a powerful submission. Rashid, I think we are getting to the close of the meeting, right?
Right, Angela, we definitely are getting close. Powerful presentations. I've learned a lot personally. I think at this juncture would take our vote of thanks, definitely. And then we can call it a session.
Okay, so I'll be doing that. Thank you very much.
Right.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the close of this impactful session, I'm filled with gratitude. First and foremost, I extend our heartfelt thanks to all our speakers, from Mr. Robert Appeal to Dr. Cecilia, Mr. Sylvester, and Mr. Shadrach Ehurun for sharing their profound knowledge and expertise. Your contributions have been immensely valuable. To our esteemed dignitaries, Honorable Abeka, Mr. Tony Blankson, Mr. Festus C. Aino, and Mr. Isaac Lotus, Thank you for your insightful submissions and for gracing us with your presence. A special thank you to Mr. Benadiado for the opening prayer and to Mr. Daniel Ewusi for setting the purpose of this meeting. Our next thank you goes to our very founder of the Negos Hub, Mr. Abednego Ehuruin, for giving us such a good platform to learn more. To my colleague, the wonderful Rashid, thank you very much for your cooperation. And finally, to our audience, thank you for your active participation and engagement. Your presence has made this event a success. Let us close with a prayer. And I would like to invite Mr. Yedu to kindly lead us once more. Mr. Yedu, I don't know if he is still around. Mr. Yedu, please, can you hear me?
I'm around, please.
Okay, can you take us once more?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Please, our Heavenly Father, we thank you for a successful meeting. We thank you for the knowledge you've gotten, and we pray as you have given us the grace to do exploit, we'll be able to apply what we've learned, that will be doers of what we've learned. And 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we can look back and say, yes, indeed, I have my business, and thanks to Negos Hub. Father Lord, we pray for your graciousness and your mercies on us, so that they'll grow in knowledge and bless others as well. Father Lord, we thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much, Mr. Yado. Now, what I observed was a few people still have more questions, but as we end the program, we have the various contacts of our distinguished guests and speakers who were available today. So I'll call out their contact numbers. Kindly be ready to pick them up for further questions and inquiries. I'll start with Mr. Robert's contact number. 0241 12 83 649. 0241 283 649. That is for Mr. Roberts, and I'll take Dr. Cecilia's own next. 0244 99 6991. That's for Dr. Cecilia. 0244 99 6991. And Mr. Sylvester, 054 559 1811. That was for Mr. Sylvester. 0545 59 1811. And lastly, we'll take Mr. Shadrach's contact. That is 0249 68 9550. 0249 68 9550. I hope you've picked up the contacts. I don't know, the technical team will continue to display the LinkedIn profiles of our various speakers and our founder in the chat box. So feel free to go there and pick them up to connect to them. Thank you very much. Yes, I think that is it, Rashid.
Right, Angela. Thank you for the beautiful vote of thanks and inclusive prayer. I think lastly, we would want to dedicate and read a citation of honor to Dr. Cecilia Tutu-Dankwa. Dr. Cecilia Tutu-Dankwa, in recognition of your exceptional contribution as the main guest speaker for this business webinar, we extend our heartfelt gratitude for sharing your vast knowledge and insightful perspectives with our participants. Your presentation has left a lasting impact on our audience, and we appreciate the time and effort you dedicated to enriching our event. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Rashid. So Rashid was my um co-moderator for tonight, and he's been
All right.
amazing. My name is Angela, and I was your moderator for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye bye.
Angela, thank you.
Bye bye.
Okay, thank you too.
Please, will the recorded audios be available?
Oh, okay. We'll discuss this in a group and find out if the technical team could get that for us.
Sure.
Thank you.
Very thankful.
Have a good night.